This is Pack Talk Podcast, episode 107, The Power of Routines and Rituals in Dog Training. Routines and rituals have stood the test of time in all species. Humans, wolves, dogs, cats, birds, apes, chickens, guineas, insects, fish, whales. You get the idea. The sun rises in the east, the sun sets in the west. All species have mating rituals. Ancient civilizations have rituals to their gods. Modern civilization has rituals to their gods. Routines drive our society. School starts at a certain time, ends at a certain time. Work starts and ends at a certain time. Restaurants open and close. They have breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus. Your car needs routine maintenance and cleaning. When you really think about it, routines and rituals drive everything that we do. But we don't take time to really understand that they are actually there and what they're doing for us. In dog training and rehabilitation, routines and rituals are a critical component of helping the dog be the best dog they can be. Inconsistent routines and lack of rituals lead to anxiety, insecurity, reactivity, aggression. Bad rituals lead to bad behaviors. I think of the person who pampers their dog like it is a little child but doesn't understand why the dog has horrible separation anxiety or is scared of everything. The natural wolf pack has routines and rituals which balance the pack structure. They have rules and boundaries, leading the pack to be a highly functional unit. So we need to mimic the same in our domesticated packs. When we consciously apply routines and rituals to our dogs, we can actually cure anxiety, insecurity, fear, reactivity, aggression. So I'm sitting here today, Canine Revolution dog training, wondering what are your guys' immediate thoughts on routines and rituals? And Ben's smiling. So Ben, we'll start with you. What's your immediate thoughts? You like the intro?
That's a great intro.
Okay.
Pretty good.
It's a great intro.
What did it make you think of?
What it made me think of?
Routines and rituals.
Yeah.
Routines and rituals?
Yeah.
I mean, your intro, what did it make me think about?
Oh,
it just made me think about, just very poetic and proper. You get all the terminology and pauses and everything. So anyway.
Think
well
of like
delivered.
a Nat Geo special.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Whoa,
That's
that's
you know what I
good.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
You're welcome.
I wrote it myself.
Nice.
Well written.
Yeah.
Should write a
Well,
book.
Ben, what's your thoughts on routines and rituals? Your immediate thoughts?
I'm a creature of habit.
Mm.
You'll find me in the same places generally every day. So I like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thoughts.
All right. We know that you got your house. You got your setup. Behind Ben's house is a pond.
Uh-huh.
And in the,
Where's
I
this
don't know
going?
what you call
Where's
it.
this going?
But it's
You
like
never
a
know.
little, it's like a little corner table at Ben's house next to his couch.
Huh?
And in there is a bird watching guide.
Oh, yeah.
So we know Ben has experience watching birds. Can you tell us any observations on routines and rituals in your bird watching?
The thing about the bird watching pamphlet, which it kind of folds out into a pamphlet. It's like a laminated.
Okay.
It's a laminated pamphlet that I got from someone when I bought a bird feeder.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "You must be all about birds." I bought one bird feeder, and
He's
and,
in.
And
He's
I
in
got
now.
and I
Bird
got
watching.
like a bunch of gifts one year for Christmas for bird feeding stuff.
Right.
Which I was like, so I just like watch birds randomly.
Yeah. But
You
so
know?
have you figured out any
So
routines
I
and
mean, I'm not
rituals?
studying birds every day. Let's go ahead and make that clear.
You're not studying bird
It's not
behavior.
a very hot passion of mine.
But have you observed any routines and rituals in your bird watching?
I got a routine and ritual about the Canadian goose.
Mm.
They're pieces of shit. I hate geese
Why?
because they're mean AF. They're mean.
Sounds like I need some.
They have some mean rituals.
And here's the ritual about the goose.
Yeah, tell us the
Here's
goose
the ritual about the goose, which I got 2 living behind my house right now.
For now.
For now, before more show up, which is...
Are they nesting right now? Because it's mating season.
They're
right
hanging
now.
out.
Mhm.
So they're always just lounging around. Anyways, when they have their babies, they get super defensive.
Oh yeah.
And you can't get close to them.
Oh yeah.
Or the that's how they sound.
So that's the ritual. They're gonna hiss at you before they attack.
They will attack you.
Right. But
It happened to me before.
That's if you're not listening to their hissing ritual.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're in my potty loop.
What does Joe do?
Yeah, you got to respect.
I mean, Joe walks towards them.
Nice.
You know, but now my experiences of geese attacking me happened in my old neighborhood, where there was like legit like 20 geese around one pond, and there would be babies everywhere, and they would come from the pond. In the pond, they would come out to attack you on the sidewalk.
Don't
That's
get
how
close.
territorial they are.
Don't get close.
And so I've had to throw poop bags at geese, kick them.
The heck?
Did you
Dude,
pick it back up
they
though
will
after you
come
threw it?
across like 50 yards away. They'll come towards you and attack you. It's crazy. And
They're territorial.
Oh, extremely.
That's a ritual.
Especially about their babies. And so I'm hoping that the 2 geese behind my house just F off and don't have babies behind my house, because then I'm going to have problems taking my dogs outside. Because they're legit like 20 feet behind my house, or 20 yards behind my house. So
All right, well, good observation.
that's the Canadian goose for you.
There's a whole pack in my neighborhood.
Yeah, this
Erin,
is
tell
gonna
us
be a
about your
problem.
thoughts of routines and rituals.
They're very important. Keep your mental health clear. Keep your mindset clear. For us as humans, for dogs, I have a cat. She's very routine. She does. As soon as she gets up, you know, even if I'm not up, when she's up, same time every day. She's ready to eat. She's ready to then do some bird
Wait,
watching
does this
herself.
mean that you're oversleeping sometimes?
Well, no.
Oh.
But like maybe
Which,
it's
that's
just
allowed.
Maybe
If
it's
it's part
just
of
You can
your,
sleep
if it's
in.
part of your
maybe
ritual.
it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
slower morning. You know, one of my off days, right? We have some slower paced rituals.
So you're saying you have a routine for your on day, routine for your off day.
That's correct.
But your cat's on a routine every day.
Every day,
There's
whether
there's
I
no
want it or not.
modification.
Yeah. And so she's ready. Then as soon as you feed her, you better open that window because she wants to look out. She wants to do whatever she does at birds.
Smell the air.
Essentially, she does this like thing at birds. It's pretty cute. But yeah, and you know, just
She's wanting to chase the bird and eat it is
Oh, yeah.
what she's wanting to do.
yeah, she does. There's been a few that taunt her, and then she runs into the screen. But yeah, you know, they're definitely important for, I think, overall mental health and just keeping you at ease, keeping you at bay. But I've seen it in my dogs too, how they benefit from a routine. It just makes them a better version of themselves.
Now you have some experience with plants. Flowers.
Yeah.
Any routines that you observe with these? Because they're also living beings. Plants.
Yeah.
Any routines?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I have outdoor plants, one, it's just routine feedings, you know, routine waterings. But indoor plants, I think, are more interesting because you're essentially creating the ecosystem for them. You know what I mean? With the pot, with the environment, with the sunlight, all that good stuff. So you start to see, one, they need, I water my plants every Sunday. If I forget, or I've been out of town on Sundays, and maybe I did not acquire help to cover down on that Sunday. You know, I come home Tuesday, Monday, and they're looking sad. You know, they're drooping.
They're
all
sad.
those things
Because you broke routine.
because I broke routine, and then you fill them up again, and they're good.
Now they're happy.
They're resilient.
You know how you beat the vacation scenario with your plants?
I saw you watering your tube.
Oh, yes. Chris, what are your immediate thoughts on routines and rituals?
I like it, and you got to have it. I think it's extremely important, especially like you mentioned, behavior modification. You know, I don't think just dogs, but us. You know, anxiety, depression. These are real issues that we deal with. You know, as human beings, and especially in today's culture. And I think a lot of people have. I mean, I'm not an expert. I can't really speak. You know, I'm not a doctor or nothing, but I think people's routines and rituals are a little bit out of whack. And I think having consistent routines and rituals will lower your anxiety, point blank. I mean, I can, like I said, I've never had depression or anything like that, but I'm definitely a naturally anxious person, especially when it comes to, you know, being around a bunch of people, surrounded by crowds, being on time. That's a big thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, we know Chris.
But those having routines and rituals in place helps alleviate a lot of that anxiety and stuff. I think that's when people talk about, hey, I have a lot of anxiety. I'm like, well, what's your day look like? Are you working out? Are you getting physical, mental stimulation? Where does that fit into your routines and rituals? That stuff, there's a bigger picture. That by itself isn't going to solve all your problems, right? But that's a good foundation to have very consistent routines and rituals, but also to be flexible. You know what I mean? I think I've learned about balance a lot over the years, where if my routines are too rigid, you know, and there's no flexibility, that can make you anxious as well, or that can cause issues as well. I think you have a general outline, general consistencies that are routine. To me, routines would be something like you mentioned, the sun comes up. You ain't changing that. The sun's coming up and it's going down at some point, right? Like that's a very routine things. The rituals are your behaviors, you know, how are your behaviors associated to that routine? Maybe when the sun comes up, I like to go outside and get some sunlight. You know what I'm saying? That's a ritual that I might do. Or maybe feeding breakfast is a routine, right? But how I do that is my ritual. What do my dogs come up and jump up on the counter, right? Like that's the ritual that could be formed. Or do they sit and then I give them some scraps or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of comes together, but you got to have balance. But it's definitely important. For sure.
One of the mindsets for victory is adapt. Adapt to what's going on around you.
Yeah.
But going back to the anxiety depression scenario for humans, you know, because dogs deal with that too, but for humans, and I've never dealt with it on a high level. Of course, I've had anxious moments. Of course, I've had times where I could have been depressed.
Right.
But you have one of two options when you're at that crossroad. Option one, you start executing routines and rituals that don't help you overcome that depression or that anxiety or whatever is going on. Option two, you decide to create routines and rituals and mindsets that push you out of those feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got two options, but you have to make the right choice. And if you are not conscious of that and you start going down the path where you have bad routines and rituals that are not helping you, you have to really consciously identify that and then alter your course. And for some people that are at a very high level of anxiety or depression, right? You know, obviously I would recommend seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist. There may be some type of medication that could help you for a period of time, but I would hesitate, you know, staying on medication for a long period of time for these types of things. But if you build the proper routines and rituals that are healthy for you and that help your mindset be in the right place, you can overcome those things. And me and Ben were actually interviewing Dr. Timmerman last week, I want to say, and he brought this up, how people are healing themselves by putting their mind in the right place, thinking positively versus thinking negatively. And he's like, this translates to our dogs too. If we think negatively or if we have depressed or anxiety or whatever, guess what? Our dog is going to have more health problems. But if we can put our mind in the right place, our body produces hormones and endorphins that help our body be better. And that translates to our dog to be better as well.
Yeah.
You know, just think about somebody, whether their dog has a major injury or cancer, or somebody that has cancer, for example. We can just use cancer as an example. That's a very easy situation to feel anxious or depressed about. But he actually is seeing evidence that if you put your mind in the right place, it helps you overcome that cancer, right? In some cases, not all cases, right? Same thing with your dog. If you go to the vet and they say your dog has 1 month to live, are you going to mope around and be depressed and say my dog has 1 month to live? Or are you going to give that dog the best month of its life? And then 13 months later, your dog's still with you living its best life because you decided to make a change and implement routine and ritual that's actually going to help you and help your dog. You see what I'm saying? So it all kind of translates together. And the reason why I put the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, because that's the world, right? The world, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's got a routine, which means that is at our core. You know, as a species, we are animals, you know, we're just highly developed animals, but just like any other animal, you can observe the plants, you know, in the springtime, they're, what do you call it? Blooming, right? In the fall, they're going dormant.
They're falling,
you know what I'm saying? Then you have some plants that bloom at night, and then, you know, they don't during the day. So every species, every living being has some kind of routine or ritual or cycle that they're following. You know, a lot of people have seen those shows about the Vikings back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How they worship their gods by sacrificing a human, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what they did back then. And that was their ritual, you know, and their routine. So, again, over time, you see these things, and it just can only make sense if you really think about it. And if you really think about your day and what you're doing, you can identify your own routines and rituals. You see what I'm saying? But before we dive into some personal routines and rituals, we've trained a bunch of dogs. We've rehabilitated a bunch of dogs. Obviously, anxiety, insecurity, fear, reactivity, aggression, these are probably the main problems that we deal with when we're dealing with problem dogs, if we have a dog that has an actual problem. You know, we train a lot of younger dogs that haven't developed any behavioral problems yet. And because they get into training early, you know, it helps resolve any type of behavioral problem that could arise because they're trained early, right? So let's say we have a hyper insecure dog, hyper fearful dog where you put the leash on them, they're freaking out, right? You take them outside of the house, they're freaking out. These dogs, they need a routine. They need a ritual. And so one of the things I've done in these kind of cases where the dog is scared of everything, number one, the routine has to be very clear to the dog, and it needs to be very systematic. That means don't deviate, right? Be very consistent with your routine. And this is what's worked for me in rehabilitating extremely fearful dogs. You know, you got that dog in the kennel. The kennel's the resting place. The kennel is where the dog hangs out at. If you allow this dog to roam around the house, guess what? You're going to foster more fear because the dog will go up underneath furniture. It'll go hide in corners. It will avoid certain things, right? We want to eliminate the dog's ability to make these decisions for itself that are not helping it be on the right path. And unlike us, they don't think consciously like we do. They just operate based on their environment. You see what I'm saying? So if we are on the bad path, if we figure out, hey, I'm making decisions that are increasing my fear or increasing my anxiety or depression or whatever, I need to make a change. Boom, we can make that change ourselves. We have to, you know, have that motivation and discipline within ourselves to make that change. The dog is not able to do that, right? Because they don't think consciously like we do. So we have the dog in the kennel. Routine number one is that the kennel is where you hang out. It's your resting place. Everything's good to go in the kennel. Nothing bad will ever happen to you in here. Now, when we open the kennel, there's no darting in or out. So the first ritual, the first routine is when I open this kennel, you cannot just dart out and run around and hide up underneath something. See what I'm saying? So we open the door, we reach in with our hand, with a leash in our hand. Some dogs are freaked out by that. You know, so what we do in that case is we just, every time we reach in, we just simply put the leash on them and simply let them come out on the leash with us. We don't say anything crazy. You don't need to baby talk the dog because the dog is not a verbal being. The dog is a nonverbal being, so you're showing it through your actions what it can expect. Put the dog on the leash. The dog gets to come out of the kennel on the leash, stays close to us because we're holding the leash. Take the dog outside to go potty, so that means going through an exterior door of your house to go outside, which going through the door is also a routine. You go with me, you don't run away from me, all this kind of stuff. We go outside to go potty. We do some engagement out there if you're able to do that, depending on your fear level. Then once that's done, maybe go on a walk on a very routine place, like around your yard, a certain path in the neighborhood, right? You take that path, bring the dog right back in, goes right back to its kennel. And you do that for days. And as the days go on, usually 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 days later, that dog has completely relaxed. The dog is completely comfortable. It knows the routine. It knows that you reach in, put its leash on, take it outside to go potty, do some engagement, go for a walk, the same walking route. You're not changing the walking route, the same pace, the same direction. You don't change up directions or anything. Potty again, back to its kennel. You know, that might happen multiple times a day. But that routine, that ritual is what eases the dog's mind. Once that dog's mind eases, now you can begin your actual training because now the dog is calm and able to process information and think properly. Because if they're in that extreme fear response, they can't think. You know, their adrenaline's up, endorphins are up, they're jacked up, you know, and They are freaking out. They're hitting that fight or flight. Fearful dog, most of the time, it's going to flight. Sometimes they fight, so you got to take that into account as well. But that's just one example of how routine and ritual helps you in dog training, especially with that extremely fearful dog, and we've done that so many times.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first dogs Chris trained was an extremely anxious dog, German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us about how routines and rituals help with an anxious dog?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar, right? So like for a lot of times for the anxious dog, it's you're going to see this predominantly in your high energy breeds. High energy dogs with a lot of energy are going to be prone to anxious tendencies, right? And so by
why would that even happen?
They don't know what to do with that energy,
right? Because there's no routine or ritual in place,
right? Think of like taking that dog, put it in like a natural environment outdoors, or put them in a wolf pack or something like that. They've got all this space. They've got a territory. They're going to be patrolling. They're going to get in line with the routines and rituals of that pack. Mm-hmm. And that's sometimes in that transfer of, hey, we got to teach this dog to live with a human. That transfer isn't very smooth because we're not doing the right things, right? Like we have to emulate what that dog would be doing out there. Now you're taking this high drive dog that's supposed to be moving, and let's say we're putting it in a small house, whatever. I don't care if you got a 4 or 5 bedroom house compared to what these dogs are supposed to be doing. That's a small area, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not giving them consistent things to do, right? And that's not even talking about getting into the work side of things, like getting into the physical, mental stimulation. We're just talking about, this is your routine, right? That by itself, knowing the routine. Hey, sun comes up. Shortly after that, I'm getting breakfast. I'm getting a walk then after that. And then we come back. Here's my potty area. I'm going to do some spot time, some training. Some things are very consistent. Yes, our life gets crazy sometimes and things will change. But for the most part, breakfast is pretty consistent. Dinner's pretty consistent. Bedtime's consistent. Our walks might be around the same time before work, maybe a walk after work. These are things that this dog can rely on, right, in its mind that will help calm it down. It knows what to expect. It's not just being hit with random things all the time, right, which can make anxiety worse, right? So that side of things is gonna help them, but also being able to keep their mind in that space when they're counting on their routines. Their mind is in a calmer space. Now you're in a better environment to work and to actually do the training. Like you mentioned, not letting the dog bolt out of the kennel. I see a lot where it's like we're trying to train, but some scenario like that, dog gets out of the car, we're at the park, or dog's coming out of the kennel, dog's walking out the door, we're about to go on our walk. That initial energy is very difficult for a lot of people to manage, and they don't ever get it fully under control before going to the next step. And it's like that anxious energy just continues to go up, right? We come out of the kennel, they bolt out of the kennel, they're jacked. What's going on? What are we doing? All right, here's the leash. Oh, leash, we're going outside. Oh, now we're escalating even more. The door opens, boom, let's go. There's squirrels out here. We're escalating even more. Now we're crossing dogs and other things, right? And it's like you never got control from the get-go, right? So like they're just staying in this anxious mindset, and then that's when the rituals come in, right? Now what is the rituals like? Okay, I'm an anxious dog and I'm already jacked, right? We see this dog and I'm reactive, right? Because I don't know what to do with this energy. I'm on a leash. I'm overexcited. I'm just going to bark because that's the ritual. You know what I'm saying? And now every dog we see, I'm going to bark, right?
That becomes another ritual.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like you're going to have like all this, like the rituals are going to come whether you want to or not, right? Just the question is it going to be a productive ritual or an unproductive ritual? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to be a ritual that's going to foster insecurity or foster anxiety throughout their whole life? Or is it going to be a ritual that's going to resolve those things, right? So those are my initial thoughts on anxiety. I might have went all over the place a little bit.
That's good.
That's good. Erin, what about an aggressive dog? How can a routine or ritual help us there?
I mean, you want to essentially, dogs like that, oftentimes it's rooted in something. So we talk about how aggression can be rooted in insecurity. So then we kind of talk about taking the approach that you have, right, with an insecure dog, but we need to get to that point. So it's like oftentimes when you have reactivity or anything like that, or just aggressiveness in general, dogs aren't used to even paying mind to us. There is no routine or ritual. So if it's with owners or whatever it may be, because there's no structure at all, they're just doing whatever they want whenever they want. Whether it be maybe they don't even have a kennel. They're sleeping on the bed. They're sleeping on the couch. There's no consistency in that regard. Maybe they just have the owner just dumps a bunch of food in their bowl for them to graze throughout the day, so they have no structure in that regard. A doggy door, let out, it goes outside whenever it wants. All of those things, it's just that dog being their own leader, and not saying that it's limited to that, but we have to then, in terms of training, like show them that, hey, one, you're interacting with us, like we're gonna get you to those things, right? So first we're gonna manage you in that regard. You're not just gonna go wherever, like we have you in a kennel. You interact with us is how you unlock more things, right? And so as we go on walks, like, hey, we take you to the potty loop, like we're the ones taking you on these walks, we're the one giving you food, we're the ones giving you that water, like all your resources. They're starting to that routine in itself is flipping the script of like how valuable that person is. You know what I mean? And so through that changes the game. So I feel like with routines and rituals in terms of aggressive dogs, there just isn't any, So we have to put them in place.
Right.
That way we can get somewhere in training.
Yeah.
Well, to me,
Go ahead.
like when you have like that true aggressive dog, you think dominant dog, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's a very controversial topic. People will say, well, the dominance theory has been disproven or whatever. It's debunked or whatever. It's like, nah, dominance is a thing, right? Like it exists, right?
I mean, if you look at any animal, wild animal, zoo animal, if you go to a zoo, you watch dogs, like you can just see it.
Yeah. What I think is they're saying is debunked is like the old school way of like, hey, you got to alpha roll the dog, you got to pin him down, you got to get super physical, right? Is debunked in the sense that that's not the best way of training. But exactly what Erin's talking about is dominant. Like this is you being dominant with a dominant dog. I control when you come out. I control your energy. I control when you get food. I'm going to be a very valuable person. It's not about being I'm the big bad boss, the alpha of the pack or whatever. Like I'm not going to physically pin you down to the ground and show you who the boss is, right? It's like I'm in control here. I am your leader, right? We're going to do fun things. We're going to do a lot of cool things, but I'm in control. And I think with a true aggressive, dominant type dog, just like with an anxious and insecure dog, you want to control that energy, control that mindset. You're doing the same thing with that dominant dog, and that's extremely important because now you're dealing with potential dangerous situations.
I mean, you got to, because if you go the old school methods of, hey, I'm going to alpha roll you, I'm going to dominate you physically. Guess what? That dominant dog, it may accept you rolling it over one time. It may accept you rolling it over 3 times. But at a certain point, it's going to challenge your leadership.
Yeah.
Because you actually have not adjusted the chemistry of behavior in the dog's brain.
Yeah.
If you go through a routine and ritual and you take the proper way to do it, which takes longer, you're literally modifying the chemistry of behavior in the dog's brain. The chemicals that are present in the dog's brain, the way the dog's brain operates, you're modifying that. That's true rehabilitation. And that's how you really overcome that problem. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, if you're just kind of treating aggression with aggression, you're maybe instilling more insecurity. You know what I mean? Or the flip side of it, like you said, like you could just be creating more frustration because you're not adjusting that chemistry in their brain. So
this also applies to our world too. Like think if you've ever had that overbearing boss, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're going to do what I say because I outrank you. I'm in charge, right? Like, yeah. Ben's
Ben has some underlying feelings.
That one slipped out.
Right, like,
his boss.
You're like, hey, maybe I respect the rank. I'm gonna do what that boss says, right? Like, hey, okay, you're the one in charge. I'm gonna do. But do you really respect that boss? Do you really want to do? Are you gonna be maybe looking for little ways to test that boss? You can be looking for ways to kind of go behind his back and I'll show him one, right? Like, and at a certain point, that relation, like something's gonna give, right? Like you're either gonna leave, go somewhere else. That boss ain't gonna work out there. Versus like somebody that's truly, extreme ownership. We've talked about that, like just leading from the front. That's a good leader that makes you want to work for them. You see what I'm saying? That's going to be a much healthier relationship, and it is still one of I'm the boss. What I say goes, right? But it's not a very overly dominant type of relationship. That makes sense.
Well, if you think about the animal world, if you ever observe like wild animals, that's how they operate. The leader is leading from the front.
Right.
You think about we've all seen the videos of like the prey animals that have to cross the Nile River during their migration, right? At certain times of years, and we know the crocodiles are right there waiting for them, right? It's a ritual in and of itself of nature,
right?
These prey animals, the gazelle or whatever, they have to the zebra have to cross the river at a certain time each year to get to the pastures that they can graze on that time of year, right? Because the way that the plants bloom or blossom, whatever Erin said, you know,
Bloom.
they operate on different cycles, so they have to go to the other pastures to get the plants that they can eat. They have to cross the Nile River. The crocodiles live at the river. They know that these zebras have to cross the river at a certain time, so they're already there waiting at that location where they always cross. You know, and guess who's going across first? The leader. He's leading the herd across the river. Now, if he gets eaten, you know, by the crocodiles, guess what? The next strongest male or female, whoever's leading, is going to step up, and there might be a dominance battle in that case about who's actually in charge, but that's when that physicality comes in, and that's in the animal world, right? We are not – this is between two animals that are the same species. They will do that physicality battle. Us and dogs are not the same species, so we should not be doing that physicality battle, you know?
I mean,
But anyway,
should not.
right, should not.
Should not.
So they go across they cross the river. Some of them get eaten, of course, but the majority of them make it, right? And then they have the leader or the new leader who's now leading the way from there, right? But the leader is always going to take charge, right? You think about a wolf pack. We know that the leader of the pack is the one who's taking them to, you know, their new denning area. They're migrating them across different parts of wherever they're living, their territory, based on where their food is. They're prey animals, because prey animals alter what they're doing based on routines in the world, routines of nature. So the wolves are going to alter their routines because of nature to make sure they can eat and everything, right? So these are the types of things that if you just observe the natural world, you see this happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you really pay attention, like I said, you see it all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So good to go with that. But everyone's going to have different routines, right? Everyone's going to do things a little bit differently, and that's a good thing. We don't want everybody doing the same thing. So I'll just talk about some of my personal routines with my dog specifically. First thing I do when I get up, after I go to the bathroom myself, I let them go to the bathroom.
Good.
That's nice.
Easy routine, you know? About the
Important.
same time every day. Good to go. You go to the bathroom, whatever. After that, sometime after that will be feeding. The feeding is usually in sync with when I'm eating. So I prep my food, I start eating. I prep their food, they start eating. Easy routine, right? After that, they go potty again. After that, we go for a walk, a moderate walk. We're not doing strenuous exercise after we eat.
Careful.
We're doing moderate
Careful.
activity.
Might hate on
Hey,
you.
might
Oh, they
piss
do.
them off.
They come out
Might
on the
piss
surface.
them
No walking after you eat.
Social media comments for those who don't know.
So after, you know, on that walk, there could be training involved. There could be, you know, play involved, different things. We take a walk, right? After the walk, generally I'm starting work. So then the dogs, they go back to their kennel or they go back to the house or whatever they're doing, right? Most people are working the traditional 9-to-5 job. They got to go to the office. So their dogs are going to be in the house in their kennel, whatever they're doing, you know? For me, if I can, during lunchtime, after I eat lunch, again, short little walk. Then again, after dinner, when I'm eating dinners, when they get their second meal, and then before that, they go potty, they eat dinner, and then after that, short walk, right? And then after that, it's basically chill out time. After I put my kids to bed, I hang out with the dogs. Maybe they get a bully stick, maybe not. That's not a everyday thing, but it does happen. And then we go potty again, and then we go to bed. I mean, that's a basic routine right there. I'm incorporating the mental exercise aspect. I'm incorporating the physical exercise aspect. And every day is a little bit different. Some days I'm not working, so I might be outside more, doing stuff more. I might be in the house more, doing stuff, right? Might be hanging out with my kids. My dogs are with my kids. My kids are training my dogs. You know, it just kind of, again, adaptability is a mindset for victory in life. And so your days are going to change slightly. So you shouldn't be rigid every single day. You have your basic routine down and your rituals down, and that modifies based on what you got going on certain days. Some people, they get really crazy about, you know, the physical, mental exercise thing, which is important. But if you've had a day where you're working a lot more than you expected, You normally work 8 hours. You ended up working 10 or 12 hours for whatever reason, whatever's going on with your job or whatever. You get home, you're like, I'm so tired, but I have to take my dog for a walk. This might be one of the times where you have to adapt and say, hey, you know, it's more of a priority for me to get some sleep, some rest, versus push myself and walk my dog. And yes, your dog might be out of a walk that day or a second walk that day. It's okay.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. Now, I wouldn't do that every day, but every once in a while, that's okay. So I would say that's something that you need to be careful about, not freaking out about. You know?
I was just talking to one of my clients about this. It was because, I mean, they're pretty hardcore, right? They're like, hey, I'm doing my routine and I am not deviating from it, right? And then all of a sudden they get sick. Like we're talking fever. They're down.
They're freaking.
They're down, and they're
freaking out.
But also, like, because the routine was so strict, the dog is like being anxious, and the dog's like, this, we're supposed to be walking, we're supposed to be doing like this. It's out of sync, right? So it's like, I think part of your, like, doing what you're saying, you got a strict routine, but things are like, one day, my off day, maybe I'm doing yard work and the dog's just hanging out. Maybe I'm doing structured training. Maybe that day I want to hang out with my kids. My dog's going to be on the spot and learn to hold that duration without getting a bunch of exercise, so that when I am sick and I'm like, dude, I need to sleep. You know what I mean? I'm going to have 2 days of just sleeping. I can do the basics, get my dog out, potty, maybe a little bit of training, but then they're on spot for the majority of the day, so I can rest. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's a huge thing that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah. So, Ben, talk to us some about your routines with your own dogs at your house or your cats.
Wake up, take them out, go potty. Once I come back in, they run to their kennels because they already know that we're eating after first potty, so I don't even have to tell them to go to their kennels. They just run there.
Ritualized.
They go there, they wait, and I feed them, and then they hang out in their kennels while I eat my breakfast, do my thing, and then I'll let them out like 20 minutes later, whatever. Then they just kind of hang out for a while, you know, because I work from home a lot.
Yeah.
So they're just hanging on spot. Well, Jo, my older dog, she loves to sunbathe, so I got a big glass back door, and she just lays in her bed, soaks up the sun for like 4 hours, just doesn't move.
Holy yeah.
And Ara, my other dog, has kind of gotten onto that habit, so she'll lay out next to the door and soak up some sun, and they'll do that until, you know, like 2 o'clock or something, you know. And then the thing, what Chris was just saying is, like, I walk them every day around the same time, you know, in like late afternoon. And if I'm working or I change it up to where I go to the gym first before I walk them, like, JoJo will like come up to me. She'll just look at me because she knows it's time for a walk. She comes up to me. She's like hanging around me for a second, and then she'll be like, all right, we're not moving. So she'll just like go hang out, or she'll pace around, you know, and then I'll put her on spot. So yeah, then I, you know, do my thing, lunch, gym, walk my dogs, you know, come back, feed them, and then, you know, it's chill out time for the rest of the night. You know, that's pretty much what it roughly is.
Does your cat have any routines for cat?
Yeah, sleep. Sleep. Whenever my fiance comes home, meow at her until he gets dinner, and then just sleep, and then wait until his second dinner of the night,
And then go back to sleep.
He doesn't really have a pattern. It's just sleep and food. His schedule revolves around food.
At least you know what your cat does. I don't know where mine is.
Well, he's an indoor cat, you know, so he's easy to keep eyes on.
And Chris, what's some of your routines with your dogs?
I mean, pretty similar to what you guys are talking about. You know, I wake up. Now, I do pack potty time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to the bathroom. They're going to the bathroom. We're all outside. You know.
That's how it should be.
But yeah, like, I mean, right after that, they're going to spots, and I feed them on spots, and then I feed myself, and then you know, I'll usually do some reading and stuff in the morning. Might work out in the morning. Kind of been changing that routine up a little bit.
We know.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I get it after, but then I'll take them out again for, you know, a potty break, and that's usually before I get the kids up. So then I get my kids up, they're hanging out on their spots. I'm hanging out with the kids, feeding breakfast, getting them good to go. And then when it's time, I kind of plop the kids on the bed to wake the wife up, you know, and then I roll out. You know, that's when I'm working Rampage. So we'll have a good, 20 to 30 minute training session. And that might, like, that's the consistency is like, hey, 20 to 30 minutes, we're doing some training. That might be some tug play, might be some fetch, that might be some obedience training, might be just a walk. You know what I'm saying? I try to change that up and just keep it rolling. There might be something like obedience wise, like, hey, I'm really wanting to hone in on this one behavior, so I'm just hammering that, like just getting reps of that. I might spend the first 10 minutes of doing that, then we might just go on a walk down to my gate, open the gate up, that kind of stuff.
Oh, you close your gate these days?
I close it. Yeah. That's part of the nighttime ritual now.
Oh.
Yeah. I've changed my
Security.
changed my ways
Good to
now.
know.
Yeah. We've
Security
had some
protocol.
security incidents, so I had to tweak some stuff. So, but then I'll basically go to work, and then Kelly probably has her own routines and rituals that she's doing through the day, with the dogs, like playing with the kids outside, letting them roam around, do their thing. I'm usually same coming home at lunch, and I'll do at least get them a potty break, if not a little bit of work. Randomly, I'll bring Rampage to work, give him some spot time outdoors while I'm working. And then at the end of the workday, I tend to move into more of a calming routine. You see what I'm saying? Like, I like to wind down at nighttime. I don't like to get all crazy. I'm like an old man. I'm going to bed early. So
You are an old man.
I am an old man. I don't want my dogs being crazy. I got a young Dutch Shepherd. He wants to be crazy all the time, but I'm teaching him, like, hey, this in this routine, we chill out. You know what I'm saying? So I get home from work, I'll again walk down to the gate so I can close the gate, right? We do little training, again, just random stuff, whatever we're working on, obedience, tug, whatever. Then he's going to spot, and it's relaxed time. I put the kids to bed. Me and Kelly have our time, and then I'm going to bed shortly after that. That's pretty much it.
Well, you have a cat as well. Any
I got a
routines
cat.
with your cat?
So he shows up in the evening times for dinner. He ain't missing his meals for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he shows up, and then he usually he'll stay the night in the house. He will get up with us. So, me and the dogs, we go out for a potty break. He stays in the bed with Kelly. He's zonked out, sleeping
In the bed.
in the bed. Oh
Holy
yeah,
cow.
he sleeps in the bed on
Holy
Kelly's
cow.
side. Sometimes on Kelly.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I wish.
He's comfy. But yeah, after
He's a
I'm
fluffy cat.
after I'm prepping the dog's food, then he's moseying out of the bed. He's ready to go. He's like, don't even care about a potty break. Just feed me.
Yeah.
Gets his breakfast. Then he goes outside and he's gone. Like,
For the whole day.
We don't see
Yeah,
him
he comes
until
back.
evening dinner time.
Yeah.
You can put a little
So,
GoPro on.
I
him.
need to. I don't know what his routine is. I know. I have confirmed he has made his way over to my other neighbor's house to eat some scraps over there. I've confirmed that. Sometimes we'll see him over on your side, but that's been a while.
We need a bunch of those cameras. We need a bunch. We need to put them on your dogs, your
I know.
cats, and
I mean,
Chris's
I could
We're
tell
gonna
you,
get
my
it
cat
done.
wouldn't. He would get it off. I mean, I
think
tried,
so?
Oh yeah.
Really?
We tried collars. We've done like the cone thing whenever he was having his surgery. Ain't having none
He
of that.
gets it off.
He's
Really.
a wild cat.
Yeah.
He's a wild cat.
He did. He just showed up out of the wild one day, and he's like, yeah, I'll stay here.
Well, you also have chickens. Do you have any
got
routines
chickens.
with your chickens?
That's kind of, I put that's one of the things I'm giving my kids responsibility of. So that's part of his routine. Jackson, my oldest son.
Chores.
I like
You
it.
got to go let the chickens out. You know what I'm saying? You got to feed the chickens. You got to care for them. So that's more. But yes, they have a routine. We let them out around the same time. They go back into the coop around the same time in the evening. Most of the time, I got some rebellious ones. That,
You
Chad's had to put mine up before. I got some rebellious ones that don't like to go in the coop, but
A lot of rebellious
we're working
ones.
on that.
a
So.
lot of rebellious ones.
But yeah,
All right. Any plants?
that's Kelly's department, so I couldn't tell
No
you.
routines with plants.
I have no idea.
How about we know Chris is a big grass cutter.
Oh,
Any
I
grass cutting routines?
it's not a routine, but it's definitely a ritual. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? There's
Shirt off.
shirt's
Yeah.
got to be off. You can't. I mean, ain't mowing the
Obviously,
grass
gotta
with a
get that
shirt
tan on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got to get that. I mean, it's just when it needs it, you cut it. That's it. There's no.
When the grass is tall, you cut
Yeah.
it. That's the
Chris
routine,
Chris
boys.
loves that ritual.
I like.
Chris
I like.
loves that ritual.
It's good. It's nice. It's like therapeutic for me. Put some music on. Put some classical music on in the earbuds. Just get on the zero turn, cruising. It's a good time.
God.
It's a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting excited.
What's
Oh,
too
yeah.
old? I mean, what's not too old? Sorry, in my head I was like,
This
you're,
is too old.
you're
Yeah,
thinking
she's
about
thinking
You're
this
old.
guy's an old man.
You're old.
What's too tall?
Too tall? I mean, like gets
Knee.
above your ankles.
To your knees.
Knee length
God.
is definitely too tall.
I mean, knee. If it's knee tall, like you skipped it a while
Yeah,
too
yeah,
long.
yeah. You skipped it for
I'm
about
saying
a
like
month.
ankle, like above my ankles.
It's
We're
hard to
getting-
walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to keep it low too. We got snakes and stuff too, so it's legit. It's not like I'm crazy. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Not like a crazy lawn guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Aaron, talk to us about your routines.
So I was saying earlier, I wake up, I feed the cat first.
Oh, cat gets priority here.
Prioritize the cat. Okay.
Okay.
Feed the cat.
Does your cat sleep in the bed?
No, my cat sleeps in its own room.
Its own room?
Well, where the dog kennels, we have a room for the
You
dog
got an
kennels.
animal room. The animal
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we just call it now Rogue's room. So, but
You want
yeah,
a chicken? You
she.
can add a chicken to your room.
No.
Oh, that's gonna shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, no, we
Turn
can't
it
let
into a litter box.
we can't let Rogue just roam because she is actively going after all my plants. And so the cat training's been difficult, you know.
She's a
We have a
nocturnal
podcast.
creature.
Yeah. Well,
I'm pretty sure there's a cat podcast. I've heard it before.
Cat's
Maybe
mine.
Pack Talk podcast episode 55. I don't know.
Maybe.
Might be worth looking into. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
they talk about cat training in that podcast. If
Well.
you didn't know.
yeah. I'll get on it.
Anyway,
So feed the cat. The dogs go out for the bathroom. Honestly, the girls go out. Maverick's still under the covers. And then I start getting the dog food ready. Once the dog food is getting dropped, that's when Maverick comes out. So they're all eating. Then I eat. Then I pick up all the bowls, and I go typically to the gym. And then so that's I gotta go in the morning. I will not go in the evening. Once I'm home, I'm home.
evening, not good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, you're like.
I mean,
4.
it is. Evening is hard.
Four's-
Ben
It's
goes
hard.
before the evening crowd.
no, that's not true. Recently, I've been going at like 5 or 5:30. Just so you know.
Oof.
Bad idea.
That's at peak rush
Yeah.
hour.
That's because he wants to socialize.
No, I don't talk to anybody. It's because I'm working for you,
until
boys.
you can't. Until you
Getting
fail
the
on the
job
bench
done.
and you're.
Evening's hard. It's hard.
It is
Erin,
hard.
continue.
Then I come home. I'll try to take my dogs on some sort of walk, whether it be my neighborhood or there's a little park near my house that we go to. And that's just because my evening can be, it varies. You know, I could either have a evening when I'm working a little later, or, you know, whatever. But especially with the heat, my routine of walk can change in terms of time. But when it gets hot, early morning walk, little later in the evening walk, if time allows. And then after we come home, drop them off, they go in their kennels, and then I go to work. And then I don't live at work or right next door to work. So, you know, I eat lunch at work, you know, work my training dogs, you know.
But
and
you
then
brought them to work sometimes. You bring them to work
I
randomly.
do bring them to work. The weather's got to line up perfectly along with my schedule.
Yeah.
Well, you never know when some property will become available close to work, but you got to
Yeah,
jump on it
yeah,
because there
yeah.
has been a scenario
Or
in
two.
the past.
Or three.
No one listened to me.
Well,
I listen to you.
Yeah, you listened.
No,
to
I
me.
live next
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
I listened. It was just
You
you know.
listened to me too late in the game.
You know, you live and you learn. You know. So yeah. So
Well, when
then
you're at work and you have your lunch,
Mm-hmm.
is there any routines with that?
I wash my hands and I eat. Nothing really. You know.
Any routines with chickens at lunch?
Yeah,
At
you-
work?
you're
Don't touch them.
constantly defending your food.
Yeah, they
Constantly.
come steal your lunch.
That's
now.
a ritual.
Can't even sit down. I just got to walk around, which is probably good. And then
Good for you.
after work, go home, feed the dogs, feed the cat. If we have time for another walk, we do. Otherwise, they're doing just some winding down. Our evenings are pretty chill in general. You know, we don't have kids, so no craziness going on. But, you know, just taking it from there.
You know, I wind the kids down too at night. It's all that my whole house is. Hey, wind it down.
Oh, yeah.
Humans, cat.
My
dogs.
kids, when I get home from work, you know, and sometimes I do have later evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids get the priorities over the dogs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
for me specifically. So if I got X amount of time, you know, the kids are getting time. The dogs might not be getting a walk that evening, and that's
Right.
okay,
Yep.
right? Adapt and overcome. But my kids love playing like rowdy rough with me.
Mm.
And so in the evening is when we get our big playtime in. And with my kids specifically, we have a routine at nighttime, a ritual at nighttime. They each get individual playtime, right, with each parent. And sometimes they do some combined playtime after that or whatever. But they love getting rowdy and rough
Nice.
during that time. So unlike Chris, when he's winding down at night,
No.
a lot of times
You're
I'm
getting
getting
that.
jacked up
Yeah.
for that playtime.
You're getting last bit
Oh,
of
yeah.
energy.
And then
out.
after that playtime's over, then we got to wind everything down for bedtime routine.
That's a WWE SmackDown. That's our morning ritual. I'm slamming them on the bed and everything. That's good stuff to do with
Good
kids.
way to wake them up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They definitely want to get rowdy and hands-on and all that.
Nice.
Our morning ritual with my kids is more relaxed. They don't really like getting all jacked up first thing in the morning. They want to play. What?
Amen.
They want to play Barbie. They want to lay around. They want to read a book in the evenings when they're jacked.
Amen.
But yeah, good to go. All good routines, all good rituals, obviously. And I just wanted you guys to share that so that people listening, they can start thinking about, how they could modify their routines and rituals if they need to. If there is no modification needed, no problem. You see what I'm saying? You'll have routines and rituals for yourself. You'll have routines and rituals for your significant other, right? If you have one. You'll have routines and rituals for your dogs, your cats, your chickens, your other animals. If you have hamsters.
Rip.
If you have goldfish or whatever, you'll have routines and rituals with them. Your plants, you'll have routines and rituals with. You know what I'm saying? So all that kind of stuff, you got to build out your routine and rituals for that, right? Your workplace, you'll have routines and rituals. Your eating habits, you'll have routines and rituals, because if you're not careful, you can eat improperly, which affects everything else, right? Nutrition is the foundation for us and for our dogs. So building out routines and rituals for that specifically, will help you in certain situations, and I've had, for me specifically with my eating rituals, obviously where I work is where I live at for the most part. For those that don't know, that's where we're at for the most part. So for me, I have easy access to my food, but it wasn't always like that. When I was in the military, I'd go out on field training exercises for weeks at a time. And I'd be bringing food with me to supplement what was available at those field training exercises. Or when I went to the office, I'd have a cooler. I'd have to prep all my food so I could eat what I needed to eat versus defaulting to Arby's or Subway or McDonald's or whatever's available, So building out a routine and ritual that works for you so that you can eat and fuel your body properly. And that helps you maintain that mental clarity and make sure your other routines and rituals are in check as well. Right. So any other routines and rituals that you guys want to discuss, or any other comments on routines and rituals? Closing thoughts.
I mean, just be adaptable, because your routines are also going to change through different life phases. You know what I mean? So sometimes you get set in these routines and rituals that you do, and then all of a sudden life changes. You get married, you got to change things. You get kids, you got to change things.
That's definitely
what I mean? So
you get a new dog.
Get a new dog.
You had one dog, now you got a second dog. Boom, everything changes.
Now you got a third dog. Yeah,
everything changes real quick.
Yeah.
Or you had an older dog and now you get a younger dog. Yeah. Boom, everything's changing rapidly. Right.
But also, to someone who doesn't have a routine or ritual, it can sound boring. You know what I mean? It sounds unattractive. Like, you do the same thing every day at every time, and it's like, yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, do I have time allotted for work when I know I'm gonna maximize my time to work out? Yes. Am I doing the same workout every week? No, it may look different, I may be doing, 1 week something. I mean, we've talked about, I was in a little bit of a slump, right? And so mixing up my workouts to keep it interesting, but it's like in my day, that's the best time for me to get that workout in. Yeah. So it's like, it's not just go to the gym, you do the same thing every time, or like, oh, I gotta walk my dogs at this time. Maybe it's raining, and like maybe that is when I would walk my dogs. So we're doing a training session inside where they're learning something completely new. It doesn't have to look like some people, and I think a lot of today's society is like not necessarily flexible, but they're just like, I like the spontaneity. I like having, not knowing what my day-to-day is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like on my off days, like it is less structured, right? And like open for different things to do. But I think like sometimes it can just become daunting from the outside looking in to have a routine of some sort.
Or boring, right?
Yeah,
like people that are, you think of like your mastermind personalities that are more adventurous, like you're saying, hey, I like not knowing and just let's see what the day unfolds, right? But you're still having those, like we do got to wake up, right? Is your ritual, I'm going to get up, or I'm going to hit the snooze and stay into bed, right? It's like, especially if you've got those things like anxiety or depression or things like you're trying to literally address those types of things, you can still live that life and have a fun, adventurous spirit. That's kind of like my workout routine now has been more adventurous, right? Like I did get boring with doing the same thing consistent. Right now I'm like trying to get my kid involved in working out with me and changing things up, and that makes me now more motivated to work out, but I'm still staying consistent on some of these other routines. You know what I mean?
Well, I think based on what you guys were saying, you know, and I like the day-to-day changing too.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be way more strict and rigid, and you know, like Chris was saying earlier, getting a little bit anxious if my routine changed. But as time goes on, you know, through your life experience, you see that it's not so good to be like that.
Right.
But I think for most people, if you like that change in your day, the one thing that I would keep as consistent as possible, and doesn't have to be at the same time, but just the ritual of what you do, feeding.
Yeah.
The feeding ritual is the most easy thing to do. It has to be done, at least for your dog.
Why not keep it?
Right. You just let them go potty, you feed them, they go potty again, short walk, and then boom, you're off to the races. You know what I'm saying? So just keeping that. Doesn't matter if you do it at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., you can change the time that you do it. But the ritual itself of what happens during that time, that's twice a day for most people, once a day for some people with their dogs. Boom.
Yeah.
And
You
like,
keep that anchored in, everything else flexes, you're fine.
And you can take it slow. Like if you're
Right.
just now building your routine, start with that.
Right.
Once you feel like you've mastered that, add the next thing. Maybe it's you're doing like, hey, I can do a walk at this time, you know, and then make that consistent and just see what it does to not only your dog but your body. You know, it's obviously going to benefit you. And then add more things over time as you keep going. And I think then, I mean, it's where the discipline comes in. Like there's definitely going to be days when you don't want to, but like, you know, it's good for you, it's good for your dog, you have the system going, so that's what that discipline gets you through it.
There's nothing better than a good walk.
Oh yeah.
You know, at least for me in nature. You know, a good walk in nature.
I mean, seriously, like there's a difference. To me, you walk on a treadmill, you walk on a trail like a hiking trail or something. I mean, I'm telling you, it's different. You're getting
Game
sun
changer.
exposure, the smells, the sounds. I mean, you just feel better.
If you're out in nature, if you're out on that hiking trail, you got the trees are giving you better oxygen.
Yeah.
You know, than
Freaking
that city.
Nature's medicine, bro.
Right.
Oh, and if you walk
Nature's
barefoot,
also metal.
you know, Ben actually informed me on that, and Lauren, about barefoot walking. And you talked
Grounding.
about for a long time
Grounding.
that was Lauren. Ben talked about for a long time about waking up and the first thing you did,
Oh yeah.
go outside.
That used to be. That was a routine I was trying to establish in my life, and it didn't stick.
I do that. I'll do.
Or you wake up and you go and soak up some sun for like 10 minutes, just like with minimal
shoeless,
clothing
shirtless.
I mean, you take your dogs out to
Dude.
go potty, you're outside
on.
anyway.
My freaking problem is I don't have a fence. So if I take my dogs out, I gotta have them on spot. I got people that walk through my yard and X, Y, Z.
Oh, I thought you were
Sounds
talking
like
about
their
from a
problem.
clothing perspective.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was in a neighborhood.
That
I was
is
still
also
doing
the
that.
thing. Is
I mean,
that I have neighbors like super
Yeah.
close to me,
Yeah.
and I go outside with gym shorts on. And,
I thought
mean,
about
don't
doing
care,
that, but in my backyard there's a giant tree that just blocks all sun, so I'd have to go in the front yard, and I was just like,
The
that
sun
would
is
look
good
too
for
weird.
you, but so is fresh air. I mean, when I get up, it's pitch black outside.
Yeah.
There's no sun. It's dark as hell. You know, the hell's not dark.
Hell's
now,
not. It's pretty light because there's like
but
fire. and
it's
stuff.
dark, right? It's super dark outside, so I don't get that sun exposure. But when the sun does come up, my morning walk is with that sun exposure, which
Right.
your body wants sun.
Yeah.
Your body needs sunlight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and without sunglasses too. Like sunglasses are good as the day progresses, but that early morning sun, it's good for your body not to have some kind of layer protecting you from the sunlight itself. So definitely a good ritual. I mean, even if you're just going for a walk with your dog, you're getting that exposure, you know. So back to what you were talking about, your workouts. You know, Erin said she was in a slump a little bit ago. You know, one of the things we were talking about, which I know has helped me during slumps where you're feeling not motivated or you're struggling for whatever reason, that routine, the ritual of just going and doing something, right?
Yeah,
that
I would
will
literally
help
just
you.
walk around and I'm
Right.
picking something up. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then I sit down on something and I start moving my legs. I'm like,
Right.
all right.
Just get some movement going. Movement is motivating, right? Motion is lotion.
Yeah.
So that's going to help your body because that's pushing blood around, right? It's getting your blood flowing.
I mean,
so.
for me, it's a mental thing as well.
Right.
Like it helps your mind. Like to me, I mean, we've all had those days where
Right.
you hit the snooze or you say, you know what? I'm not going.
I don't know about the snooze, but yeah.
You've had a day where you're like, I'm not doing. It's not happening today, and you don't go to the gym, right? And like to me, that hits you the whole day. You're like, dude, I started my day off like that, and I'm like, I'm a failure. Versus, I'd rather, hey, I don't feel it. Let's go. Let's just move some stuff around. You feel better. You're accomplished. You accomplished the first thing that was on the list that day. Boom, we accomplished it. And we maybe we didn't knock it out of the park, but we did it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a difference for me. You wake up and your body is like, I want more sleep. Sometimes you got to tell your body, this is what we're getting.
Right.
Sometimes if you can tell, hey, I'm degraded right now, I feel like my body's fighting a virus or a sickness or a cold or something, I'm going to opt for more sleep.
Right.
And yes, you're not going to feel as good,
right.
but sometimes you do need that rest. But the trap is that people like constantly are thinking, my body needs more rest, so I'm not going to go work out, or I'm not going to get
need rest
up.
because I'm tired.
Right.
It's like, well, you haven't worked out in like 3 weeks.
Right. Sometimes you got to figure that out.
If you've been getting after it, you'll know. Because if you've been getting after it, hey, man, I work out 5 times a week. I've done 4 times, and dude, I'm hurting. Maybe you need to listen to your body. Maybe you need to take some time off.
But if you're in a slump, like mentally just in a slump, like, hey, for some reason I'm not motivated. This isn't like, I'm not feeling like I usually feel. You go in, you just do something that whatever is exciting to you in that moment, whether it's, dumbbell curls or whether it's deadlifts or bench press or lat pull downs or pull-ups and push-ups or whatever. You do something to try and stay in your routine, stay in your ritual. And I'm telling you, as time goes on, it's not going to be a quick thing, but as time goes on, that slump will be over and you'll be back to where you were and you'll feel good. Or if you hit a plateau, like let's say you're trying to add muscle like Ben is right now. He's in a gain phase, right? You're still in a gain phase?
I'm always in a gain phase.
Okay,
He's getting
so
jacked. He's getting
you're in a gain phase. You're trying to add muscle. You're like, hey, for some reason, I've hit this plateau. I'm not progressing. Something's happening. Take a break from what you've been doing. Just go have a good time. Get some blood flowing, get some good stuff going. And then, a couple weeks later, get back into a strict structure as far as trying to progress. And sometimes you'll see that,
Yeah.
Sometimes your body needs a break too. Maybe you need to take a vacation, right? You take a week off.
Go on a
take
cruise.
a week, you change up what you're doing, you go on a cruise, you go wherever, you come back, you're ready, and your body's ready to make more progress. Sometimes that happens.
Or even sometimes just having a partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
training partner.
I will say, like, when
Training partners are great.
when
They
Jake and I
push
can
you.
go together and like kind of be on the same page, like even when I don't want to go, like I always leave feeling like I was happy I went. You know what I mean?
That
Well,
accountability.
you in there, you know what I mean? Like
and
when
it
we
can-
do our workouts,
yeah.
I'm like, I get more pumped.
and you can get that feeling on your own, but sometimes it's like you don't have to do everything on your own.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, so
For
someone else can help you out or give you that like
That
maybe
accountability,
that little
that
push
motivation.
you feel that you needed, and it's fun. You
The
know?
other thing too about a good workout partner is you can train safely, right, and push
Yeah,
yourself.
good
So
point.
if you have a good workout partner, they're with you. They're like, hey, you were bench pressing 135. I feel like that was really easy for you. You want to try 185. Whatever, you put it on. If it's a problem, your workout partner's there to assist. But if not, you're like, okay, I actually was able to push myself further, and now my body's going to develop further and progress faster.
Yeah.
Which is if I was by myself.
Or the flip side.
Or the flip side.
Hey, you tried to squat 205
If
and you didn't even get 90. So maybe you should lower it, you know.
If you have a bad workout partner,
Little ego check.
Sounds like a personal experience,
something
Aaron.
going on there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
talking
like-
about me or you talking about someone?
You're saying like you can your
Check
partner
it,
can.
doing the form checks, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like, hey, you're not ready for that,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
still
definitely,
safety.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's why I've started changing my workouts to incorporate my oldest son Jackson, because when I lift, he's like, "Dad, you're so strong."
Oh, yeah, it's like an ego boost for you. You're like, yeah.
Until you
Chris is
started
bench
so
pressing
early that when he's
135,
when he's
Jackson's
in
like, "You're so
6th grade."
strong." Chris is
I'm
like,
lifting
I
the
am
bar.
strong.
He's like, I can't even do that. I'm like, one day, buddy. One day.
Yeah, yeah, but you started so young. Joke's on you. And he's in 6th
Yeah,
grade.
he's
He's
gonna
going
be
to be
jacked.
lifting more
Oh
than you.
yeah, that's the goal, right? Make
Yeah.
your kids better than you,
Heck yeah, man.
or help them be better than you were. So all good. All right. But before we wrap up here, let's talk about some affiliates. First of all, we've got Canine Revolution Dog Training. Very strong with routines and rituals. Rituals for the dogs. Rituals for the chickens that are part of Canine Revolution Dog Training. Rituals for Erin's favorite, the Guineas, that are part of Canine Revolution Dog Training. They have rituals. They love talking to Erin. You know, when
Screaming
she's on
at
the phone. Yeah. You know, rituals for trainers, rituals for training assistants, rituals for our media production side of the house, all the above, right? But we're here to support you and your dog, no matter where you are. We just finished up training a dog from Ohio, and that dog had some major hyperactivity, major anxiety coming into training, got the routines and rituals, went home a calm dog, right? Back in Ohio now, good to go. You know, so that's just one example. But doesn't matter where you are. We are located in South Carolina, but we will help you no matter where you are. We have board and train programs. We have private lessons. We have virtual lessons. So please contact us if you need some help. info@caninerevolutiondogtraining.com or 843-213-2676. We're standing by to support you and your family.
We're waiting for your phone call.
We're waiting for your phone call
We're
today.
here waiting.
Right.
Kevin's got the phone.
You called today, which he won't be on call when this airs.
Uh,
This will be in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
So
it'll be
Erin
me.
will be on
It'll
call. Erin will be on call.
Still go.
Also, Canine Revolution Apparel. So if you're looking at the video, you know, Ben's got a Canine Revolution hoodie on. Erin has a Canine Revolution hoodie on. Me and Chris have Canine Revolution shirts on. You got the logo, right? If you want to wear the logo and represent, you go to Canine Revolution Apparel on Amazon. Click the link below. Get you a Canine Revolution shirt.
those shirts are nice.
I
By
was
the way, I
saying,
got
Chris,
one.
Chris had the
was like an
Revolution
OG. The green
apparel with
The
the
green
tan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to get some of those.
It was
Bang.
nice.
Yeah.
It was real
Bang.
nice.
Well, they're
Feels
super
nice,
comfortable. Yeah.
It was kind of hot that day. It was nice and breezy.
You took it off?
Well, when I got home,
Oh, okay.
for my sunlight routine, yes, but not at the farmer's market. No.
That's how you get the clients. You take it off
Yeah.
at the farm.
Well, I got to once I get the tattoo, the logo tattoo on
then
my
you're
back
good.
and my chest, then
Oh,
then
yeah,
we'll,
I
then
still
we'll
gotta do
start
that,
training
too.
shirtless.
Oh, you're tattooing? I thought we were branding.
Oh, we can brand.
I want to do
Yeah.
the brand, but they want to do the tattoo.
Yeah, the brand would look horrible. It's not
It
going to
would
look
be
like the
just
logo. It's
a
gonna be
bunch
blob
of
skin.
scars and all that.
Anyway, Canine Revolution Apparel on Amazon. You guys took that off real quick on
we
a tangent.
sidetracked.
But you can get the Canine Revolution logo shirt. You can get the Good to Go shirt. You can get the hoodies, the chicken shirts, whatever you want. All right, go on there, check it out. We're also affiliated with JOCKOFUEL. All right, now earlier we were talking about nutrition, fueling your body. Nutrition is the foundation for everything that you're doing. And JOCKOFUEL helps you fill those gaps in your nutrition, right? So I know for me, this past week especially, I've been busting my ass taking care of people.
About time.
Taking care of people, taking care of dogs.
You got
getting a
amped
little-
about
he's getting a little
You
aggressive
got
about
amped
it.
about that.
Hey, I've been busting my ass. I don't know what Erin's been doing. She's been texting me.
I mean,
this
we're
and that.
busting
I've
our
been
ass
working
every week.
all
It's
day.
like you acting like
You know?
it's just, well, this week I've been like, hey,
Every
what
day.
else you doing?
Every day.
That's a little joke between me and Erin. She was hitting me up the other day. I'm like, I've been busting my ass.
Wow.
I just got home from an appointment. I'm like, what?
Anyway, so we've been busting our asses.
There we go.
There you go.
Taking care of people, taking care of dogs, getting shit done, right? Guess what?
Fix your mic. You're
I good?
leaning over the mic.
All right, well, I'm getting amped
He's
up.
amped.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Right.
So adjust accordingly.
That Jocko goes kicking.
Yeah.
But guess what? I was on the go. I didn't have a lot of time to prep my food like I normally do, which is part of my normal routine and ritual. And guess what? That's okay because I can adapt, I can overcome with the support of JOCKOFUEL. Because
Nice.
guess what? I grabbed some Jocko Milk
Nice.
ready to drink. I grabbed 2.
Nice.
That gives me 60 grams of protein.
Boom.
So between my appointments and I got a 15-minute drive, I don't have time to sit down and eat. I got time to freaking drink some milk.
Slam it.
Give my
Double shot.
body the protein it needs
No
to
factor.
continue to operate at peak proficiency.
You're getting Erin good.
You're cooking.
And
her
then
up.
I go to my next appointment. I'm freaking good to go. You know what I'm saying? Erin, what's the problem here?
You're so amped
He's
up.
I mean-
passionate about
I
Jocko
know.
Fuel.
Well, the thing about me is I'm big on protein because that's literally what your body needs. Your body can't store protein. I'm not going to go on a tangent about protein.
you
As he
kinda
goes
are.
on a tangent
yeah, you
about
kind of are
protein.
right now.
I eat my meals 4 times a day.
Rein it in,
Right?
boys.
4
Rein
times
it
a day.
in.
And at each meal I need at least 50 grams of protein.
Yeah.
At least.
Sure.
So when I'm on the go and I ain't got time, guess what? I need that freaking protein. So I grabbed 2 Milk RTDs and I got 60 grams of protein ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
I can drink it on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Jocko go.
No factor.
Easy.
Right? So it helps me fill that gap. When if I didn't have that, guess what? My body starts eating itself. My body starts eating my muscle to give me energy. Not good to go. Not good to go. 100%. Right? We all know that happens, right?
Sure.
Yep.
If
And
you
then
don't give
then the next step is what? Temptation.
Exactly.
You're driving by that drive-through.
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That
the
Arby's
vortex
is
is pulling
looking
me.
good. That Chick-fil-A is looking good. You know?
Think about Chick-fil-A right now.
So,
You got that RTD, you slam it, you're like, boom, no
Boom,
factor. I'm
no
good.
factor.
Don't need that Arby's.
absolutely. Absolutely. Also,
Sometimes though, Arby's.
Also, if you actually know what the restaurants are giving you, you know, like I went out to eat recently with my family, and we were going to, like, I forgot where we went, but I looked ahead at what was there, and I was like, I'm not getting enough protein here. I'm only getting 30 grams with the meal that I'm getting at the restaurant. So guess what? Before I went, Milk RTD, chugged it, boom. Now I got 30 grams going in.
Nice.
I get 30 grams there. Now I hit my 60 grams.
Nice.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
Good
I'm
point.
freaking good to go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, Jocko Fuel. So they got the milk, which is the protein. They got milk ready to drink, which is what I'm talking about. I'm drinking on the go. They got the milk powder, traditional protein powder. They got the milk cookies. You could always
Pretty good.
also go that option as well on the go. Get
Brought
that
those
protein.
camping recently.
Did you?
I did.
Did you share them or did you keep
No,
them?
I didn't share
Yeah, I was about to say. Because they'd be
Did
gone.
any?
It was like a 12-pack. I ate all of them.
You didn't give some to your kid?
Yeah, I gave one or two. One or two.
Because they need protein too.
Yeah.
Did you know the older you get?
You're going on a tangent,
Okay,
boys.
all right, all right.
Rein it in here.
I'm reining it in. So we got
Been saying
we
back
got
up.
the protein options. We got the greens, right?
Greens.
Micronutrients. So if you need some micronutrient support, which we all do, get a scoop of that greens going. You got the creatine. We got the Jocko Go Clean Energy, right? So you could go to the gas station. You can get you some bullshit, Monster.
Hot dog.
You know, you can get you.
That one
You
got
could go to the
good.
gas station. You could get you some bullshit energy drinks, Monster, Red Bull, Celsius,
Wrong.
Bang, all this shit. All this shit not
Garbage.
good for you.
Well, you're cussing a lot right now.
Too many.
You're cussing a lot.
Too much caffeine.
Too much.
Too much caffeine. Yeah.
Sucralose.
Too much caffeine. Sucralose, not good.
Sugar.
Not in Celsius.
Or you could get you Jocko Go, and you could be helping your body. It's got vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, a little bit of caffeine, right? Some nootropics for your brain. All good for you. So you're actually supporting your body while you're doing what you need to do versus destroying your body by drinking that
Poison.
bullshit, poison from the gas station,
Yeah.
right? So
You're
just
missing
keep
the
that in
best
mind.
one.
What?
Jocko pre-workout.
Well, yeah, you got the pre-workout if you're about
Oh,
to
I
go
got
to the
some of
gym.
that today.
That's what I'm on.
Oh, today for the trainer
I'm gonna
workout?
take it today.
That's what I'm on. It's good, dude.
Watch out,
It's-
Aaron. Chris
I may
is
need
taking
some
the
of that.
pre-workout.
Hey, you can.
Although I'm at the point now where I got a problem. I take the Jocko pre-workout. It doesn't juice me up like it used to.
This is a
You're-
problem.
you're
This is
taking
this
too
is
much.
when
This
you,
is Jocko.
this is
No,
when
no,
you
that's
caffeine
because you're
deload.
also doing the garbage.
doing
No,
the
no.
bullshit.
Here's what
Uh-huh.
happens. Let me lay the groundwork real quick. Here's my routine. All right, circling it back.
You had a
Routine and
chance for
ritual.
this.
Here's my
He
routine.
did, he
One
left
cup.
us out.
One cup of coffee in the morning.
That's 100
100.
grams.
Yep.
95.
Okay.
85 to 95.
Okay, we'll round it up
Okay?
to 100.
Yeah, it's crazy. No more caffeine for the rest of the day until gym time. Jocko pre-workout.
200 milligrams.
200
so now we're
mil.
at 300 a day. Yep.
And I'm still good to go, and that's it. That's all my caffeine.
What about your Celsiuses?
I don't drink them every day.
What your car says differently. I
I
was just
drank
in your car.
one-
You
that
got
Cels-
cans crushed
The
at the bottom.
Celsius that's in my car right now is from yesterday when I didn't go to the gym. That's my 200 milligrams.
Well, I will say this: you do need time off of caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
You do need time.
I will
off
say
of
I've limited my. I used to do 2 or 3 cups of coffee.
That's
I
300
mean,
milligrams
I can't
right
hate on that. I used to do a pot.
yeah.
there. We all did back in the day.
Yeah, I'm just saying I got to detox my brain a little bit from the Jocko.
Yeah, this week for me, upcoming, no caffeine. 100%.
Oh, really?
100% no caffeine.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I do that all the
I
time.
like that.
But you're going to do this week.
This
This
week
coming
up.
week. You're going on vacation.
Yeah.
You're not going to do any caffeine?
No.
On a
I
cruise?
mean, he's not.
100%.
The problem is I'm not gonna say it. That's,
Well, he's not
that's
gonna wake up at
disclosing
3:30.
classified information.
What's classified information?
Ailments that might limit your activity level.
I can still upper body 100%.
I know, but I'm saying you're gonna be
He's still
worn
going
out.
His
to the
lower
gym.
is
He's
gonna
still
get
going to-
blended.
Okay.
with
You want to know what Ben's talking about?
No,
I
no.
tore my ACL.
All right, we're
Is that
Well,
what you're
well, to
talking
be
about?
fair, I tore his ACL.
Anyway, my ACL tore And yes,
Tore your ACL. You can't
I'm
go
limited in some things that I can do, but I can
Yes.
still work out upper body, 100%.
I'm just saying the
I can still
caffeine.
walk.
Stop.
You know what I'm saying?
He's
and
not
guess
incapable.
I'm backing you up.
what? When my ACL gets connected again, guess what? Jocko Fuel.
I know, but
Help
I'm
me heal.
backing you up. I'm saying you don't need all the caffeine on your vacation because you're not going to be going hardcore.
I'm gonna be going hardcore.
He might go more hardcore.
I'm going
That's the
hardcore. I'm working
that's the
out
problem here.
because they got a gym on the ship. I already did the virtual tour. I saw what they got there.
Yep, good call.
Right?
Good call.
And they got a
Ship
track
gym's
there
nice.
that I can walk. I can get my 10-minute walks in, and yes, it's a lesser walk than it used to be because I'm at limited capacity.
But
see
you're
what I'm saying?
adapting. You're adapting.
But I'm adaptable.
Moving
Right.
on.
Anyway, Jocko Fuel. Go to JockoFuel.com. Discount code Canine Revolution gets you 10% off. All right, just get there.
We've already
Just do
lost.
it.
We've
Just
already
do
lost
it.
the listeners.
Yeah.
There.
Just do it, Jocko
You guys
Fuel.
went crazy. All right, moving on. Our last affiliate, last but not least, We Feed Raw. Actually, our not last
No,
one.
no.
Mm.
Yeah, you're missing one.
Shit,
Dude, what are you doing?
shit.
What are
We
you
Feed
doing?
Raw
He
is
got
next.
so amped up, he just
Yeah,
lost
you guys got
track.
me amped. But you know how Jocko Fuel fills our nutritional needs? We Feed Raw fills our dogs' nutritional needs. Now, we've talked to two people recently who are really laying it out there about how important nutrition is for our dogs. And we know this because we know how important nutrition is for us when we're feeding kibble to our dog. What's so funny?
Aaron just keep going. Aaron just scratched.
She's over it.
No,
No, I was just cracking my neck.
So nutrition important for our dogs. We need to feed our dogs a proper optimal diet. That's raw food.
Yeah.
We feed our dogs kibble. That's shit. That's shit for our dogs. It's
That's
processed.
McDonald's.
Read the freaking ingredients, people. You're putting shit in your dog. Okay?
Probably
literally.
literally. Probably.
I'm
We're
just-
cussing a lot.
I mean, today I'm just calling it out as it is.
You're calling
Normally
it
I'm
out.
just
You
like,
got
yeah.
amped up in the past 10
today,
minutes.
Today we're freaking.
This
today
is
we're
what
freaking
Jocko
laying it
Fuel
out.
does to you guys. And it's awesome.
Hey, that
It-
thing hit him.
It opens your brain
Yeah.
to know the truth.
Exactly.
You know, so anyway, get your dog on raw food. You will literally see the benefits. Let me
Yeah.
tell a quick story. My 15-year-old dog, Sarabi, we all know her. That's here, right?
Oh, yeah.
We all know her
Mm-hmm.
because she likes to, appear.
Meander
Meander.
Yeah. She likes to just
Right.
show up
Right.
in your sessions.
in your
So,
training sessions.
anyway, Sarabi, she's 15 years old. She's an old lady. She has DCM. Guess what? Last year, she went to her DCM appointment with the cardiologist specialist. And he's like, hey, her heart is enlarged, this and this and that. She just went to her recent annual review. Her heart shrunk. The only thing we changed about Sarabi, her diet.
Mm-hmm.
100% raw from We Feed Raw, literally curing her from DCM.
Yeah.
That right there is evidence that shit's real.
Yeah.
That shit's legit.
Medically documented needs to be.
Medically documented, right? So anyway, go to WeFeedRaw.com, sign up for the
Not
meal
to mention
plan.
the kibble is probably causing.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
which is what we talked about with Dr. Timmerman and with Amy,
Yeah.
right? Kibble literally
Causing
killing
issues.
our dogs,
Yep.
causing cancer, causing problems, right? And Dr. Timmerman said there's 3 things you adjust to make your dog good to go. First thing, diet. Get them on a raw diet. Second thing, vaccinations. Reduce your vaccinations for your dogs. Third thing, drugs. Reduce the drugs that your dog's getting, right?
Yeah.
He said if there are sicknesses or viruses, you can use the old tried and true antibiotics like doxycycline, amoxicillin. But all these new things coming out, these
Yeah.
new antibiotics, it's just big pharma taking advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they put your dog on trazodone, this and that for anxiety. Not good. Not good, people. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyway. WeFeedRaw.com. Sign up for the meal plan. The discount code Canine Revolution gets you 25% off. They'll deliver it to you at the date and time that you need it on an interval so that your dog has the food they need. You will literally see benefit from it. And if you can't, due to financial or budgeting, get your dog on a full raw diet. At least get him on a 25% raw diet where you're topping their normal food with some raw. Literally game changer. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Amen.
Moving on. Last but not least, K9supersupplements.com, the letter K, number 9, supersupplements.com. They've got a variety of supplements for your dog that's going to fill in any nutritional gaps, made out of whole ingredients that are good for your dog. No bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So the one I recommend is a joint support supplement. Get your raw Get your joint support from Canine Super Supplements. Put it all together in your dog's bowl. Now your dog's on the path to being optimized, right? But they've also got the multivitamin supplement for your dog's immunity and support systems. They've also got the puppy formula, which is good for puppies, good for older dogs too. So they got all the above, right? They've also got the weight gainer for dogs that are struggling to gain weight.
Or if you want them to get jacked.
Put on some
them
muscle.
pitties.
Right? Put
Or
on
for
some
yourself.
freaking muscle.
I mean, I've taken.
I mean,
I've definitely
it
tasted
smells like whey protein.
Smells really
vanilla.
The thing about the weight gain too is your dog might be struggling to gain weight because they're on the kibble.
Right.
So you get them on the raw and you get them on the Canine Super Supplements. Now you're good. Okay. Anyway, discount code Canine Revolution, 15% off. CanineSuperSupplements.com. You won't regret it. 100%. Okay. Again, if you guys need help, contact us, info@caninerevolutiondogtraining.com. Comment on our socials. Send us a private message. We'll get back to you at some point. All right? Some form or fashion. YouTube. We got YouTube channels for Canine Revolution Dog Training and Pack Talk Podcast, so check those out. Make sure you subscribe to those. We're putting out content all the time. And rate us, review us on your favorite podcast platform. If you guys need us to consult with you, whether you're a dog owner, dog trainer, maybe need some help, reach out to us, info@caninerevolutiondogtraining.com. More than happy to help you guys, okay? Just keep in mind that routines and rituals, they're everywhere around us. The sun, the plants, wildlife, insects. We didn't get to deep dive on that, but insects have their own routines and rituals, right? They're all around us. Start paying attention if you're not. Be conscious of the routines and rituals that are around you and modify your own routines and rituals that are going to be the most benefit to you and your dog. And until next time, this is Pack Talk Podcast.